Oh, hello. Welcome. Welcome to the Mermaid Tavern. Chin chin. School. Slangeva. Bottoms up. Mm. Paul McCartney got back. Did you see him? Did you see him? Na 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 na. Hey Jude. this was the only. This was the only bit of merch I got, and they were giving these out free. These things you assemble to make a megaphone out of, and the other side had a sort of heart thing, which it was you were encouraged to hold up when Paul sang now and then. I didn't. Did you? Did you do that? It was just so kind of enthralling, wasn't it? This is the third time I've seen Paul. Only three times I've seen Paul over the years. Actually, not very many. I know many of you probably have seen him many more times than that. There was a guy in the audience who the cameras picked out who has seen him 134 times. what if, Paul says something quite funny. He says something like, "That's too many, isn't it? That's too much, isn't it? That's too many times, isn't it?" It's quite funny. It was really enjoyable. I've enjoyed him before. There's the first time I saw him was when I got this T-shirt. I think it was 2010. You know, the Goodnight London thing. Were you there? The O2 in London. But this time I went to see him in Manchester, which is my neck of the woods originally, up that way. And so it was kind of nice to see him. You know, I think many people from Liverpool maybe weren't disappointed he didn't play there, but he was saying, "I'm just from half an hour down the East Lancs Road." um, it was great. I enjoyed him before, but this was the best of the three times I've seen him. Second time I saw him was 2016 at the O2 again. Um, I went with my sister and my brother-in-law, and we had really quite good seats, you know, to the side of the arena. So in other words, when Paul's looking out to Paul's left, you know, and I like seeing a gig, don't you, when you can actually see the person that you know the who's singing's face, rather than having to just look at the screens. I've seen many gigs in the past, but way back in the gods, and I've had to look at the screens. But I, you know, um, this was probably the most. I think it's probably the most expensive I've ever paid for a ticket. It was well, not that much, really. I suppose in the scheme of things, considering how much tickets for like Taylor Swift and stuff go for now, but 180 something pounds each. Uh, the three of us, I paid. Anyway, going on. Let's talk about Paul. 2 hours and 40 minutes. He played. Um, just stunning. It's hard to pick out kind of highlights, really. Um, just he was obviously really enjoying it as well. There's one moment he just sort of stopped and went, like, just let me take a minute to drink this in. So I thought that was lovely. He's really sort of enjoying it, and it's a nice venue. That it's Co-op Live. It's a new venue. It started early this year. I believe they had a few teething problems with it initially, but yeah, a nice size. It's like what live is. Size is it? 23,500. What's the O2? Forgotten. More than that, no, much more than that. But yeah, this was good. I could see him, see his face, and you know, he was good. He sounded really good, actually. There's a lot of people criticised Paul in recent years, his voice going a bit croaky and stuff. Which, come on, but actually, I don't know about you. I found his voice really good in this. I think maybe in 2016 I maybe noticed a bit like that. But if you probably know if you've been here before, I kind of got into the Beatles in the late '70s. I had all the Beatles songs, but I wasn't really into Wings. My sister liked Wings actually. Funny enough, I remember said to me, I'm coming because not because it's not because he's a Beatle. It's because he's a member of Wings, a wing." So she wasn't really a Beatles fan. She liked him in Wings. And I heard that some of the albums my sister had, like Wings Over America, she had that, and she had London Town, which was okay. There was all right songs on London Town, but I didn't really like them at the time. It wasn't very keen, I suppose it wasn't because I was at school. It wasn't very cool. In those days, I cared about more about what people thought of me. Yeah, so I didn't want to. Yeah, Wings weren't really cool, were they? But I'd never heard like Band on the Run or Ram or one of those albums then. I think I'd heard McCartney because I collected the Apple record label. Yeah, and some of the Apple albums like Wildlife. But I wasn't really into them. Now, though, in the last, you know what? Only in the last 5 years, I've maybe less than that. I've started listening to some of those Wings albums I didn't know. And some really nice songs on them. A completely different view of like an album like Ram, or Band on the Run. I wasn't aware of that. When my sister was into, I did get into that more recently. More than 20 years ago. It's a great album, isn't it? Band on the Run. There's so many great songs on there, and he did quite a few. Actually, a big standout song for me on this, I don't know about you, was In Spite of All the Danger. In spite of all the danger, whoa. And he got the audience to sing, whoa. It's, of course, a very early song, as you know, very early song for Paul, that. I don't think I've ever heard him. I don't think he sang that before. Maybe I'm sure you've probably maybe seen him sing it before. Apart from this, the set list for the Scott Back tour this year, has he sang it before? Brilliant. They talked about the origins of it when they recorded it in this studio, Kensington, Liverpool. It was just great, and all the band came on stage. The drummer bought a little portable drum set rig, understanding. The drummer was great, wasn't he? The drummer's great. Great character in this, isn't he? Can't remember his name. You'll know out there. But all the band was good actually, and they're all like on stage, like doing a sort of almost a Quarrymen sort of thing, And it kind of got me. I really got, I love all the eras of the Beatles, but particularly that early era I've spoken before, which particularly sort of captures my imagination. And In Spite of All the Danger was a highlight for me, and in an evening of highlights, it's very difficult to really pick complete. And of course, Now and Then. Oh, Now and Then. When he sang Now and Then, oh my God! When he sang Now and Then, I should have got it out. I should have got it out. Big love for Paul on Now and Then. I mean, I talked about that not long ago, about whatever it was, a month ago or something, or less than that. Talked about those Beatles singles like "You Free as a Bird" and "Real Love" and Now and Then, and how especially like Now and Then. I'm so glad Paul took the trouble to get that finished off, because he obviously saw the potential in it, and it obviously affected him. It moved him. And he obviously saw it was a good song, so he could, and he did finish it really well. I know I might have said before when I was here that I was sorry they didn't have that bridge in it. The bit that John had, but he had his own guitar bridge, didn't he, Paul? And just great here. I suspected it would move me when I heard it. He was going to play it, and yeah, you did have bits of the of the Peter Jackson video, but there was all sorts of montages of other. It was the other montages of pictures of them all with Paul playing there, and that's him. It's basically that's Paul there. That's him. That's him with through his whole life, and it's this great musical god that he is, because he is, isn't he? He's a musical god. Really, he is, and he's far up there beyond anybody else, I think. I just love him, honestly, and I love him more actually, having seen that gig the other night. It just reminded me a lot. I suppose in broad terms, I was a bit of a Lennon fan originally, but and I loved a lot of Paul's songs, honestly. "P.S. I Love You" is actually, I think I've said before, my favourite. All-time favorite Beatles song. I don't know why it just got that special thing for me, that song. And that's a Paul song, as you know. It would have been nice to have heard him sing that, actually. But no complaints. No complaints. Be grateful for what you get. And we got a lot, didn't we? If some of you will be seeing him, will have seen him if you watch this, playing at the O2. He's playing at the O2 London tonight and tomorrow night, and that's the final gigs he's doing. It's great. Do you know, the only disappointment for me was I had to go. I had to work the next day in London, so I had to get I just committed myself to some work I shouldn't have done, and needed to, though. I had to get a night coach from Manchester to London. Oh, I hate getting night coaches anyway. So I had to, I've got a feeling the first song in the encore. I saw that, when he obviously projects the John image from the rooftop concert, and I knew that was going to be another moment. But I was a bit anxious because I had to go, I had to leave because I couldn't have missed this coach because I'd have left a load of people in the lurch the next day, you know, on conscience. So I missed him do, I missed him do Helter Skelter. I would have loved to have seen him do Helter Skelter. I love it. That is another one of my all-time favorite Beatles songs. The power of that song, I love it. When I saw him do it, I remember when I saw him do it, 2010. When I was I think I felt about the youngest person in the audience then. Not so this time. I felt really as though everybody was about my age, or just a little bit younger, or just a little bit older, late 50s, early 60s. A lot of them. There was a few even older ones too. I wonder if there was one guy. He did look like he might have been a first generation fan. And a lady too. But it's great. I remember when I saw them in 2010, they were getting up and getting up for Helter Skelter. Oh, but that was a disappointment. I looked at the set list, and it's got "Hey Diddle Diddle" at the end, right after the end. What's that about? Tell me in the comments. Did "Hey Diddle Diddle" bit of that? Was that at the end? Was that a jokey thing? Because normally the end, isn't it? But yeah, of course he would, carry that weight, all that. Um, I missed it. I had to go, but I loved what I saw, and I saw most of it. I saw well over 2 hours of it, and Blackbird was another moment where they had the raising platform up, didn't they? I mean, it rose up. Just him on his own singing with a guitar, and the platform rose up into the sky with all the stars around it, and that was magical, and a wonderful song in it, Blackbird. I do love it. I love the arrangement. He did a sort of, I don't know what it was, but getting better. That Sergeant Pepper song. There was a really nice arrangement on it, nicer than the arrangement on the Sergeant Pepper album of it. Don't know why, just something real. Oh, that's interesting. It's better. Sometimes you hear that, don't you? You think, oh, don't get me wrong, the original song's great, but there was something added to it with the arrangement. And it was funny because they were showing all film in the background of this sort of while he was singing "Getting So Much Better" all the time, all this sort of post-apocalyptic landscape of London and Paris and New York, all in ruins, and it was quite funny. It was a bit of a sense of humour behind all that. Great atmosphere, wasn't it? Every song, every song. Here today, and again, a song I never particularly really kind of thought much of before, but that got me as well. Obviously a song about John. Let Me Roll It, fantastic. 1985. Of course, Live and Let Die with every time I see him do Live and Let Die, it gets more and more wonderful. The pyrotechnics, Hey Jude, of course. Yeah, I've ripped it. Na 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 na. Hey Jude. Sorry, but yeah, this was Hey Jude, of course. But yeah, standout was definitely in spite of all the danger. Yeah, as I said, now and then, tears shed, tears shed. Did you shed tears at that? It's yeah. Well, that's all I can say on it, really. Paul, bless you. I know even in my wildest imagination, and I've got pretty wild imagination, I wouldn't imagine for a moment, even a moment, that Paul could see me say this to him. But why would he anyway? And thank you I'm always grateful for anyone who watches who joins me here at the Mermaid Tavern, and many of you have done recently, and that's been really made me really happy. Paul McCartney, bless him. Thank you for watching. Will I see you again before Christmas? I hope so. Bless you. Happy Christmas if I don't see you. Bless you.